Try to get right here off the ground. Try to get right here. Good, now hold it. Hold. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's Paul from the Strength Revolution, and I'm here with my buddy Austin, and we're going to be teaching you how to do the battle ropes the right way. I'm going to take you through always like the most basic stuff first. Okay? Because when people do battle ropes, I swear I watch people do battle ropes on YouTube, and the only thing they care about is how fast, how hard, how many repetitions. And that's wonderful, but there's a lot of things that you need to consider when using the battle ropes. So the most basic movement that I teach anybody for battle ropes is going to be the simultaneous wave. So the simultaneous wave is basically like this. I tell people it's like you're riding a horse. Yeah, you know, like giddy up. Yeah, just like that. So here's do you know what the #1 most important thing is when it comes to battle ropes?
No.
The most #1, what you should be focusing on the most?
No.
Symmetry. What do I mean by that? Do you know?
Like the ropes are moving at like the same like wavelength?
Same height, same distance, same everything, right? What happens if my waves look like this? What do you think is going to happen to my right arm over time?
That's going to fatigue out?
It's not going to just fatigue out. It's also going to get way stronger than this arm.
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When people do battle ropes, you want symmetry. You want a balanced body. So you want to be making sure that every wave that you create is exactly the same height, it travels exactly the same distance, and it travels the exact same amount of waves in the rope every single time. Have you ever focused on symmetry before?
Outside of like training like a bodybuilder?
No, with rope specifically.
Oh, no.
Never?
Normally they just happen to move at the same wavelength.
That just means that you're doing a pretty good job at staying symmetrical. But when you have movements like when we show you movement #2, which is the alternating wave, where one arm goes up and one arm goes down, if you look at my waves, my right one's actually producing more force than my left one right now.
Absolutely.
So now I need to catch that left one up a little bit and start pushing harder with my left arm. Does that make sense? What I'm doing is I'm watching to see where the wave travels. The thing about ropes is that it's a visual piece of equipment. Meaning, when you do bicep curls, you don't really know if you're moving symmetrically. The ropes show you if you're moving symmetrically. When I was first taught battle ropes, my coach told me that the rope is a living piece of equipment. It's alive, and it talks to you while you're working out. Meaning, if I'm doing waves, and I've been doing this for 30 seconds, my waves are looking like this, the rope is literally telling me that you're not doing it right. Does that kind of make sense? It talks back to you, and it gives you that tactile feedback in that moment. So here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you do simultaneous waves. I want you to do it for nothing crazy, probably about 15 seconds. And your goal here is not intensity, but symmetry. Does that make sense? Let's do simultaneous. It's a little bit easier for right now. We'll do alternating in a second.
Okay.
Right, you ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, your symmetry is really solid, actually.
Okay.
So most people, they're not going to have that kind of symmetry. They have to stay super laser focused. It's a pretty like natural.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Now, let's talk about the second most important thing. So symmetry, keep that in the back of your brain. Again, the most important thing is symmetry.
Okay.
#2, adjusting the difficulty. So let me explain this super quickly to you. Your goal, tell me if I lose you, your goal is to hit the anchor with your waves. Do you follow that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is where people get lost. If you hit the anchor, it's too easy. So, let me re-say that again. Your goal is to always try and hit the anchor, but if you're actually hitting the anchor, it's too easy. So how do you make battle ropes harder?
Faster?
That would be one way. What's another way? I could have you say go faster. That's definitely one way.
Shorter waves?
Actually, the opposite. You could go bigger.
Oh, bigger
is harder. Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah,
If you have more distance,
I see what
then
you
you have to carry that.
versus.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Now here's the one and the part that no one realizes. If you get closer, the rope feels heavier. Okay, so right here, pause right there. Okay, now, do
Uh,
you remember what the number one most important thing is?
Symmetry.
My man. Now I want you to add intensity. Your goal is to hit the anchor with every single wave symmetrically. Do you have any questions?
No,
You ready?
I'm excited.
It's going to take it, like, let me show you something real quick. When there's a lot of slack to the rope, it's going to take a second for the rope to kind of catch up. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So you're going to have to kind of just go through it. The waves will start to come through.
Okay.
Any questions? We'll
No.
go for 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, here we go. All of a sudden, it got a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
Symmetry looks pretty good, though. I can see the ropes are traveling the same height, same distance. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay.
I
So,
never thought about shortening the ropes.
to putting slack into it, right?
I never thought about it. I'm gonna kill Mike today.
So here's the thing is that most people, when they're newbies with the ropes, they like to pull the slack out. They like to do this and then do the movement.
Yeah.
That's actually making it easier. I know that sounds weird, but it actually makes it easier. What's really hard, take out 50% of the slack of the rope and then try to get the anchor.
Do
I'm
it.
going to just demo this so you can kind of see what kind of intensity you can really get. Holy shit!
That looks pretty tough.
So hitting the anchor with more slack in the rope makes it harder to actually produce the movement. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense.
You're like, holy shit, that's weird.
Yeah,
Now,
it makes a ton of sense.
there is a certain distance that is like too close.
Absolutely.
Do you know about where that would be?
I would say if this is like 100%, I would say anything less than 50%.
Yeah. So like if you were to cut the rope in half, going past here it's like too messy. It's kind of sketchy. Ropes are going everywhere. What do you do when someone has progressed halfway down the rope? Do you know? Have you ever seen those?
Heavier.
There's two different ropes there. There's a 2-inch and a 3-inch.
Okay.
Once someone can get 50% of the way to the rope, you got to use a heavier rope. And then guess what? You can start that process all over again. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So there's even progression for things like ropes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it comes to strength training, force is force is force. Your body doesn't know if you're lifting a barbell or a rope. Your body's just producing force. So this piece of equipment could make you stronger if you program it correctly.
I'm just.
Hey, we've only scratched the surface of the ropes, my friend.
I'm already blown by progression.
With ropes,
Yeah.
most people don't even realize that like you can't progress with the ropes. Like it's just you grab them and go. You could do like more time, like if you did 15 versus 20 versus 25 versus 30.
That's how I've always progressed. Hey, we're gonna
More
do
for
35
time.
seconds, 45 seconds.
So by doing this, it's increasing the load.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
can.
almost like artificially. Like the rope isn't actually changing weights unless you grab a heavier one. But by getting closer, you have to work a lot harder.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So far we've done alternating waves, we did simultaneous waves, working on symmetry. Here's the other thing that most people don't realize with the rope, is that this is a multi-planar exercise piece of equipment. You know what multi-planar means? So like, we can go left, we can go right with the rope, we can rotate with the rope, or we can go up and down with the rope. So whenever I'm teaching clients, I always start with the up and down first because it's the easiest to perform. Now I'm going to teach you a movement called a lateral wave, where we take the rope and we slide this from side to side. Does that make sense? Now here's the thing. Most people are very imbalanced from right to left. So doing this, usually people are pretty good on symmetry. But as soon as we go side to side, usually symmetry goes out the window. Now, if you look at my rope right now, that like 12-inch gap between the rope pretty much travels all the way to that anchor. I'm not doing this. See how messy that is?
Yeah.
We don't want that messiness, right? So I'm going to have you practice 20 seconds of lateral waves where your goal is to keep that gap between your hands the entire time as you rotate. You want to give it a try? This one's really fun because you can push this one really hard. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, you ready? I'm going to give you a countdown.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Remember, it's not about speed yet. We're focusing on symmetry.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Way different, right? Up and down's usually pretty easy for people, but once we start adding different planes of motion, challenging angles of our body, yeah, that's when symmetry kind of goes out the window. But you're still trying to. Almost done. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, relax.
How to do?
I actually think have you ever done a lateral wave?
No.
First time?
Yeah.
First time ever, pretty decent actually. Most of the time there's a ton of crossover with the ropes and stuff, and I'm like, okay, just slow down a little bit. That gap between the hands needs to stay a gap the entire time. Okay?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question here. What body part is this focusing on?
Body part.
Yeah, what are we hitting in terms of body parts?
What did I feel?
Yeah,
I felt my back.
Okay.
Arms for sure.
Sure. Do you feel core at all? Like abs, like a Russian twist vibe? You can say no, it's okay.
I want to say I did, but like I think I felt it in my core.
Oh, like the whole midsection, not just the abs.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Yeah. So let me ask you a quick question here. Let's take a small step backwards. Okay? If I did this exercise, what part of my body am I working?
Your arms.
Let's be way more specific. It's pretty much one part of my
Your biceps.
Yeah, it's like I'm doing like a bicep curl, right?
Yeah.
What if I perform my waves like this?
That's like lat, right?
It would be lat pulling down, shoulder pulling up.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I did it like this?
Like legs, arms, core, yeah.
So which one's right?
They're all right.
Very nice. That's a great answer. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have a client coming in and they want gigantic arms and you know you need to do a little bit of cardio with them, make them do simultaneous waves with no movement except their arms. Have you ever tried that before?
No.
So if, let's say you want a full body workout, legs and arms, you're going to get more heart rate from that. We're going to try both so you can really feel the difference. So let's do the non-bouncing version first so you can feel just biceps. Then we're going to do the one where you do straight arm, and then we'll do the one where we bounce.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So no bouncing, just bending the elbow up and down. Are you ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Nothing but elbow bending. That's perfect. You can still get into an athletic stance if you want. There you go. You're doing perfect. Just stay with that. You're going to feel it all in your biceps, my friend.
I feel it already.
3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, so now go with a straight arm. That's a little bit more awkward, but if you do it right, you'll get shoulder on the way up, lat on the way down.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Take a small step in because it's a bigger wave. Yeah, feel the difference in that. I can see your shoulders are totally working differently than the previous version of this. 3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
Perfect. Now let's do the version where we're using the whole body to move the rope. You ready?
Can you like demonstrate
Show
that
that
again?
one? Yeah, totally. So here's the thing. You have to coordinate your legs with your arms, right?
Okay.
So it's pulling me forward. I would need to take a couple steps forward, but this one is going to be the most powerful version. So why don't you take like a big step forward so that doesn't happen to you? Okay, ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Yeah, there you go. Pump those reps, pump the reps. There you go. Everything's moving now. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whew.
So, which one's going to elevate your heart rate the most?
That last one.
Which one's going to focus on biceps?
The first one.
Shoulders and lats for the last one.
Yeah.
There's no one that's better than another. It's what does your client want? Can you implement that with battle ropes? Now look, you can do some really crazy stuff with the battle ropes. Right now what I'm teaching you is something called ballistic movements, which basically means you're creating a wave pattern. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to have you take the battle rope. I'm going to have you shoulder press it while you're pulling it apart. This is a totally different way to use the battle rope. You can see my arms are shaking like crazy.
What is that for?
A lot of different stuff. We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's go through the remainder of the planes of motion. So you remember you just did the sideways one?
Uh-huh.
Perfect. There's an exercise that you can do that combines both of them. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So You're going to go up and down and left to right. Have you ever heard of something called a rope rainbow? So, start with the rope on one side of your body, on the hip. You're going to take it over your face to the other side of the body. So what you're doing now is you're creating a multiplanar movement. I have vertical movement, I have lateral movement, and I have rotational movement. While I'm doing it, what do you think I'm focusing on? Most important thing with ropes.
Symmetry.
Exactly. I'm watching those ropes. I am trying to move that rope with my whole body from side to side. If you do this with your arms, you can see what's going to happen. You need to make sure that the arms kind of stay stagnant and you're lifting through your body as opposed to just the arms. You want to give it a try?
Yeah, I'm curious to how that...
Remember, symmetry first, intensity second. This one's where people usually it goes a little crazy, so we'll see how this goes. You ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Dude, hell yeah. Good. First time ever doing rainbows. I actually think your symmetry is quite good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. That's perfect. You did great, dude.
That's a workout.
Oh yeah, that one's brutal. So the reason I always start with those 3 is they give you a pretty deep understanding that the rope can move laterally, vertically, or both. Okay? There's another move that I'll just kind of throw at you just more for fun than anything. It's an upside down version of a rainbow. Have you ever golfed?
Yeah.
You a golfer?
I'm not a golfer, but I've golfed.
You golf? Okay, so you know how to swing a club, right?
Top golf.
Same.
No, that's not.
No, I'm the same way. I'm terrible at real golf, but I like smashing the ball.
Yes, I'm the same way.
That's about it.
Yeah, same way. Yeah.
So rainbows are what we call a single upward movement, where we go up once and then we fall to the other side. Okay, this one is a double upward movement. So imagine you start at the top and you bring it across your body to the top. You bring it up across. You see how I'm using my whole body to move that rope?
Yeah.
Not just my arms, because your body is going to be able to move a lot more symmetrically than just your arms are. If I just did arms, look how messy this rope gets almost instantly.
So it's almost like catching like the rhythm.
I love battle ropes, like listening to music and like getting into a rhythm with it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's one of my favorite things. And most of your clients don't mind this because it's not just like sitting on a skier for 20 minutes. You know, you're actually focusing on the symmetry of the wave, how high, how intense. We haven't talked about the backward-forward thing yet, but we'll get there in a second.
And Angie, she has battle ropes in her basement.
Dude, teach her this stuff.
I know, that's why I was like, I think I always call it playing the drums.
Yeah, the alternating waves.
Yes, that's the only really thing I do.
We did alternating waves, simultaneous waves, lateral waves, rainbows, and this is called smiles, because you're making a smile shape.
Okay.
That's why they call them these. Let's see how you do.
Okay.
Remember, symmetry is the most important, okay? In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Yep. It's like you're swinging the hips from side to side like that U shape. Yep, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, these are best.
Okay, you're going to get the hang of it soon. 3, 2, 1. Definitely less coordinated on that.
Yeah, that was tough.
But not bad, though. So,
what's the trick to it?
I can kind of show you. You're doing a little bit too much rotation and not enough side to side. So what I mean by that is I'm pushing my hips this way, but I'm not trying to twist.
Oh, so it's like...
So if you actually like watch my movement for a minute, I'm not going and twisting my hips like this because then it's going to take me too long to turn around, right? So when I'm doing it, if you notice, my hips are staying forward pretty much the whole time, and I'm more just bouncing from one foot to the other rather than twisting. Does that all kind of make sense?
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Just for practice. Yeah, dude, look at the difference already. I can tell that, wait, are you a righty or lefty golfer?
A righty.
You swing this way?
Yeah.
You can tell because of, well, over time, like when you do rotational sports, you develop imbalances in one direction, so.
One side just move faster?
It's smoother.
Yeah.
Smoother. It probably feels smoother on your end, too.
Yeah.
So, let's say, hypothetically, you remember how I talked to you about getting closer to the anchor to make it harder?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say you have someone doing battle ropes for like 2 minutes. Okay. Do you remember what I said the goal is as far as how far we should be hitting the waves down the rope? How far should we try to hit?
The anchor.
The anchor, right? So if I am hitting the anchor, I can adjust my positioning right there. Okay, I'm not hitting the anchor. Let me try. Okay, I can hit it. I'm going to get a little closer. Okay, I'm not hitting it. You can move as you're going.
I never thought about it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, again, this piece of equipment talks to you.
Yeah.
If you're not hitting the anchor, it means you're not going hard enough. When you go harder and you hit the anchor, that means it's too easy. You get forward. Does that kind of make sense? This rope is in constant communication with the adjustments that you need to be making in order to accomplish it correctly.
So I'm trying to hit the anchor, but if I'm hitting it, it's too easy.
And then you walk forward.
And when I stop hitting it, I take a step back.
Exactly, you get it, right? You can go.
That don't make sense. It's like, it don't make sense.
Like if
So it's like,
you're fatiguing and your ropes are like pooping out like right here, yeah, back up. Definitely back up. Now, from a coaching perspective, just so you know, I'm really looking for the waves to die about right here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I don't tell my clients that. I just tell them to try and hit the anchor. If they're hitting it, I just tell them to walk forward. And then I say, try to hit the anchor. And they won't. It'll die right here.
But you're cool with that.
Yeah, oh God, of course. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell them what I just told you.
No.
Do you know why?
Because then that becomes the new goal.
Right, then they go, oh, I'm going to hit there, and they kind of half-ass it. And it's like, no. Hit the anchor, and then you as a coach observe. If they're hitting the anchor, take a step forward. You'll notice they won't hit the anchor anymore. Encourage them at that point. Try to get that anchor. They're not getting it. That's okay. That's, again, kind of the point. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it makes a ton of sense.
So, let's talk removing extensions.
Removing extension.
Yeah, I know you don't really know what that means, so I'll kind of explain it. Right now, we've done all of your battle rope movements from where? A standing position, right?
Yeah.
So let's change your lower body position and see how much easier or harder the rope becomes. So, do you remember simultaneous waves?
Yeah.
I want you to go into a double kneeling position, so like this. And now I want you to do double waves. You will see how much harder going from your knees is than going from your feet. You don't even realize how much power you use from your lower half
Even not
until
moving.
you take it out. You know what I'm saying?
So double waves?
We'll do it at the same time, not the alternating, but the same time.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
And 3, 2, 1, here we go. Remember, symmetry is still the most important thing here. Symmetry. This is perfect. You see how all of a sudden now you can't hit the anchor? There you go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you tell me, from the knees, from the feet, on a scale from 1 to 10, from the feet, how hard?
Like a
What would you get from the knees?
7. For
You
sure.
ready for this one?
What?
I want you to sit on your butt. Go V-sit, wide on the legs. You're going to do simultaneous waves between your two legs.
Like this?
Uh-huh. Let me tell you, if you thought knees were at a 7, this is going to be a 10. Now remember, symmetry and hit the anchor. Are you ready?
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is this?
I already could tell. This is some BS right here.
Well, because here's the thing. You're a super strong dude,
Yeah.
right? So if I just used the 1.5-inch 50-foot rope, I probably would train you from these positions so that we don't have to switch the rope out, and this is a lot harder for you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like a lot of the time, removing extensions like what you're doing right now is more to accommodate someone who typically has done the ropes for a while and is really strong. Like I can do a lot of this stuff, or like if you had Angie do ropes consistently, you have her work her way to a seated position over the course of like a month or 2.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? You ready to try some simultaneous waves from the seated position?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Now remember, it's going to get a little like sketchy at the beginning. Just kind of stick with it. You don't have a lot of space here, so these waves are going to be like itty bitty.
Okay.
Are you ready? And 3, 2, 1, here we go. There you go, get it down there. Now we're talking. Hit that anchor every time. 3, 2, 1. From the feet was a 2, from the knees was a 7. What would you get?
That's a 10 for sure.
It's like incredibly difficult when you don't have any lower body extensions.
It's funny because I can see me pulling power from my core.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is when you change your position, you do have to find power from elsewhere. Usually it's your hips and legs. Well, if you're on your butt, you can't use your hips and legs. So you got to start pulling from other areas.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Do you know what half kneeling is? Think like football, right? Where you're like this.
Yeah.
So go half kneeling. Okay, perfect. You remember rainbows? The ones where you go up and over from hip to hip?
Yeah.
So you're going to clear your leg's going to be in front of you. You're going to do rope rainbows without falling over for about 20 seconds, okay?
Okay.
This is more of a stability challenge. Because you're in an offset position and the rope is moving dynamically, you got to keep your abs super tight from falling over.
Okay.
That make sense?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Hard not to fall over. You're doing good. Go smaller but faster, smaller but quicker. Now we're talking. Yes, sir. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's definitely a core.
It's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That, again, no one does battle ropes right. I can tell you from my own perspective, watching people do battle ropes, nobody knows what they're doing. They don't care about the symmetry of the rope. Most of the time when people pick up ropes, they have one intention: sweat my ass off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the last thing I want to teach you is something called grind movements. So ballistic is creating waves. Grind movements are where you take the rope and you use it as a static piece of equipment.
Okay.
You ready for this
Yeah.
one? So pull the rope super tight for me. Yeah, both of them together. I want you to kind of grab both. Perfect. Your hands are big enough that you can handle it. So, do you know what a plank is?
Yeah.
A front plank?
Yeah.
Perfect. You're going to go into a front plank, take one arm with both ropes, and pull on the rope while you're doing your side plank. Go ahead. Head towards anchor. Go ahead. Side plank? Not side plank, I'm sorry. Just regular front plank. I don't know why I keep saying side plank. Yeah. So now, what arm do you want to start with?
My right.
Okay, so go wide on the knees. Cool. Can you do a plank off the knees? Like, are you strong enough?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, perfect. Now, when you're ready, I want you to take one hand and pull both ropes with one hand, though.
Oh.
Both ropes with one hand. Good. Yep, come up and pull it. Get that elbow off the floor, you cheater. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You got to go wider on your feet. You're making it way too hard on yourself. There you go. Now pull that rope. So, go from the knees. Do it again.
Today was the day I
Did you do core today?
No, today was like my day off of core.
Oh, so
Like-
we're doing a whole bunch of core here.
Okay. So it's gonna be
Yeah. Pull that rope. 20 seconds. I want you to pull that rope out of the anchor. Feel the crap out of your core. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So then you want to obviously switch hands. Are you ready for me to blow your mind, though?
yeah.
You're doing a front plank. What if you did a front plank like this?
Let me see.
Totally different. Now we were pulling laterally. So now this is going to hit a little bit more of the obliques. You're like, holy shit, what the hell? And your goal is to just pull that rope as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1. Do you remember doing isometrics for tendon building?
Yeah.
You could do this for isometrics as well. This is a totally fine, acceptable form of isometric.
What would this be training, like my core?
This would be a great core warm-up.
I never thought about doing isometrics for core besides a plank.
Well, no offense to planks. Planks get boring.
Very
like,
boring.
really fast, right? Let me throw another one at you here, just because, again, I kind of know quite a bit about ropes. You can make this a little bit more dynamic. So what you do for your client is you set up the rope just like this. You grab this. So now you're teaching them how to pull with their arm as they do a side plank, or front plank, but you get the idea here. And that just makes it a little bit more dynamic, meaning it's not going to get boring for them. You can keep doing planks with people, but then you can progress those planks doing things like this. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
You can go this way and push this way. Like, that's an option as well. There's not like one magic plank that's going to fix all your issues. But I do want to show you one of my favorite corrective exercises with the rope.
Uh-huh.
So, one of my favorite corrective exercises for the rope is for shoulder press. So, I'm going to have you try this, and I'm super curious how high you can pull the rope up, and we'll see how this goes. You're going to take the ropes, you're going to press them straight up into the air, okay? Notice that my arms are by my ears. Once I'm in this position, keeping my arms locked out, I'm going to lift the rope off the floor by backing up, and I'm gonna try and lift that whole rope off the floor, and I'm gonna hold this position. You see my arms shaking?
Yeah.
Whew. Keep in mind, this whole rope only weighs 25 total pounds. So I can shoulder press like 40. So like the fact that I'm shaking like this, there's an element of it pulling you forward that makes this really hard.
Okay. I'm super curious.
So start really easy. So grab all the way down, because you'll see what'll happen here. So hammer grip, go overhead. Perfect. Now, try to lock out your arms the best you can. Good. Now keeping your arms as far back as you can, okay? Walk super slow backwards and see how much of the rope you can get off the ground while your hands are overhead. Try to get right here off the ground. Try to get right here. Good, now hold it. Hold. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know the ropes could even be used in a static way either. You're like, holy shit, my shoulders. There's a ton. When I say infinity exercises with the rope, I'm not kidding. I genuinely mean that.
Like you got my mind just all over the place now, like with like training.
Here, let me show you something. I'm going to preview as many rope movements as I can for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you remember lateral waves, this one?
Yeah.
This is called in and out waves. This is great for pecs. It's like you're doing a pec fly. In the same understanding, this is where it gets crazy. Are you ready for this one? Reverse flies. You ready?
Are you serious?
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, there's infinity, I'm telling you. Lateral waves. You know dumbbells? Where you do lateral raises?
Yeah.
We have corkscrews. It's like a circle. Corkscrew the other way. Your face is cracking me right now.
I'm just like stunned, like.
Right, you didn't even know there were that many options.
Like, if I didn't know you, I would think he's making this up right now.
At the time, I was very traditional with my lifting. Very traditional. Dumbbells, barbells, machines. This was me going into something that I was not comfortable with at all. And boy, I was glad I went, because I learned stuff I didn't even know existed with the battle ropes. And let me tell you, when you teach this to your clients, they're going to be like, holy shit, this guy knows his stuff. Because no one ever talks about this. Nobody. Look up any battle rope anything. They just give you examples of exercises and go hard. And that's fine, but there's so much more to it than just go hard. Outward circles, you ready? Great for shoulders. Great for shoulders. This one's kind of weird. You know what a kickback is, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if we have diagonal chops, which goes from hip to shoulder. And you have the other way diagonal chops. Is your mind blown yet?
Yeah.
You're so funny. Things get pretty crazy, I'm going to warn you. Again, static exercises. Things that people don't realize the ropes have the capability of doing. Now, I know you don't realize this, but currently, this is a 25-foot, two-handled rope. Take that and pull it. You know what kitty corner is, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going. Okay, you remember rainbows?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do some rainbows. Everything that I just showed you, go ahead, relax. Everything I just showed you can also be a 50-foot single rope. So I just doubled your exercises.
Yeah, try to get to like the anchor is almost impossible, it feels like.
Oh, you want to try? So, if you do this, you become a human anchor.
Okay.
So, get on the floor. You know waves, right? Just go at a nice medium wave pace. Don't go all out. Like a nice consistent pace. Go ahead. Both hands though, both hands. You see how you're not quite hitting it? No, that's okay. That's okay. I'll show you. Go ahead, do it with both hands again. Yeah. Just go gentle, okay? My job as human anchor, I'm taking the slack out. They just focus on producing the movement. I'm the one adjusting. Does that make sense? I'm letting slack out. All you need to do is go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I love doing partner human anchors, where you go for 20 seconds, I go for 20 seconds. You go for 20 seconds, and the waves just go into each other. We alternate anchoring for each other. Have you ever seen this before?
Never.
You could also do all those 50-foot things with that rope, too. There's a million bajillion progressions to all of this stuff. Again, I just doubled your exercises by switching from a double rope to a single rope. You can still do all that extension stuff with a single rope the same way as you did the double rope.
This is like a different type of strength.
Correct. Now, strength is about producing force. Force is force is force.
Yeah.
This is equivalent to like powerlifting.
Yeah.
But from a muscle building perspective, ropes suck. They're not very good at building hypertrophy. If someone wanted to build muscle, I would not recommend the ropes.
No.
No, I mean, if you go and do a bunch of muscle building and you finish with the ropes, that's a different story. But if you like come over here and expect to build muscle on that client and you do only ropes, it's probably not going to work very well. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The other thing about ropes that you should know, there's no eccentric to a rope. Have you ever noticed that?
What do you mean by that?
Do you know what an eccentric repetition is?
Once you explain, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
So like for a bicep curl, we have concentric,
yeah.
eccentric. When you're using the ropes, there's no eccentrics. Eccentrics are usually where the muscle's built. Do you know what this is really good for, though? If you're sore in your biceps, that is going to create recovery.
Is it?
Because contractional reps are really good at pushing blood flow. Bad for building muscle, good for pushing blood flow. So if you're sore and you want to be less sore, more blood flow with less eccentrics. Because if you go do like bicep curls, you run the risk of like making yourself sore again.
Yeah.
You won't be sore from this if you do it. You know what I'm saying?
So I can't overtrain?
Well, no one said that. Because your central nervous system still plays a role in all of that. Like if you're taxing your central nervous system like crazy, you could overtrain. But from a perspective of like muscle damage, this does very little muscle damage.
Huh.
Yeah. Any questions?
No, I'm like class in session, you know, I have